Hi guys, hello boys and girls, hello my dear fellow foreign English speakers. That's me, Robby from EnglishFamily.com, and welcome back to my video blog. Now, in this Q&A video, I'm going to respond to a number of emails that I selected. They contain quite interesting questions and also some experiences being shared by those having contacted me. So I just decided why not to record a video where I respond to all those emails, right? Quite handy. I'll wrap it all up in one single video, upload it onto my YouTube channel, onto my blog and everything. So it should work out quite well. Now, let's start with the first one, right? And this is a great example of someone actually heeding to my advice and succeeding. Right, so heeding and succeeding, those are the key words. So basically, when the person contacted me for the first time, he told me that he's going for the job interview and that he was actually listening to my advice that I'm providing on my blog in terms of job seeking, and he says that I explained myself well in simple English and I had no difficulties like before. The whole panel was really impressed, and the HR, Human Resources Department, confirmed my appointment immediately. Guess what, Robby? Today is my first day at work. And that's great, you know. That's really great, really inspiring. Really just goes to show that if you heed my advice and you do it, then it just happens, you know. And then I got an update after a while from the same person saying, Dear Robby, I realized that my English is improving day by day. I meet new corporate people in my marketing job every day, and I have also realized that the more I talk, the more I become fluent and capture new words from other people, and now I'm able to use complicated vocabulary in a sentence. Thank you very much. And I gotta tell you guys that the feeling having received the feedback like that is great, because you can tell that when a person actually does it, you know, when they go on about their job interview preparation with the zeal and the dedication and everything, it's just gonna happen, you know, you're going to succeed. It just stands to reason. If you put in a lot of work, preparation, it's just gonna happen, you know. And just like the person here pointed out, speaking using simple vocabulary is also the key. You know, you go into the interview and obviously your preparation and all that is great, but when it comes down to actual speech, you know, there's a little bit of improvisation involved at all times, you know. So that's when it's crucial to be simple, you know. Don't try and dazzle your interviewer with something complicated, sophisticated, because more often than not you will actually shoot yourself in the foot, meaning that you're going to make it even more difficult for you to continue the thought, and that's when the failure is almost guaranteed, right? Now, moving on to the next email. Yeah, the person here says that he's been studying English in the UK for the last 5 years. And from what I can understand, he moved back to Africa, right? And his confidence has plummeted for some reason, you know? He's tripping over his own words, use the wrong words in the wrong context or whatever, and has to repeat himself. So basically, that's a typical manifestation of the English fluency issues, you know, that I'm describing in my blog time and time again, you know? And then he goes on to say that he's realized that he's using the same words and phrasal verbs. So in order to deal with all those issues, he's decided to increase his vocabulary. And he's amassed a ridiculous amount of new vocabulary, phrases, idioms, but he fails to incorporate them in daily conversations, you know. So now he's avoiding English communication altogether. So some people have actually told him that his voice is annoying or whatever, so obviously this person starts having all sorts of mental issues, because when someone criticizes you and all that, it gets even worse. So what can I advise here? First of all, forget about learning more vocabulary, more phraseology. Thing is, obviously there is a need for a decent amount of vocabulary and phraseology, but the thing is, you can use the existing vocabulary efficiently, and you gotta become skillful at it, you know? There is no need to widen your vocabulary. I fell for the same trap all those years ago when I was memorizing huge, long vocabulary lists, you know what I mean? It didn't make me by one bit more fluent. Your ability to speak has nothing, almost nothing to do with huge vocabulary. Say for instance this video, right? I'm using very simple vocabulary, probably 200 words big vocabulary throughout the whole video or something like that, you know? So it doesn't take a genius to be fluent. You don't have to possess 500,000 words in a foreign language in order to speak it fluently. Only a few hundred would do. You know, obviously to be truly fluent, a few thousand words would be necessary, but you get the drift, right? So the advice to that person is forget about it. Stop being focused on building your vocabulary, but instead go for the simplicity. And you're saying that you're tripping over the words and you keep repeating yourself. So the key here is, what you're doing is, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are correcting yourself the whole time. You are second guessing yourself. Even as you say something out loud, you kind of catch yourself thinking, hold on a second, but I might be making a mistake here, right? So you're not really trusting yourself. And it's something that one of my, actually she's still my existing student. I was going to say one of my former Fluency Star students, but she's the last remaining student. She's a long-running student. It's gone on for more than a year now, and we have a chat session once a week or so, right? And that person also has that kind of issue, you know? You know that you're good, you're quite knowledgeable, but you still don't trust yourself. So you constantly keep questioning yourself, questioning the way you say things, and as a result you actually end up going back, correcting yourself and saying things wrong. So the advice here is to just trust your gut and just say whatever comes out of your mouth, you know? Just say the first thing that comes up in your brain, you know what I mean? Don't try and make it super perfect. And the wonderful thing is, if you go with this strategy, yes, you will make a mistake or two here and there, but for the most part your speech is going to be correct, because your gut will eventually manifest itself, meaning your intuition, you know, that's what I mean by saying gut, and you will end up being quite fluent, you know what I mean? So you have to trust yourself. Stop doubting yourself. Obviously it's easier said than done, and it's not that easy in real life. You have to constantly practice, and that's obviously the third pillar that the whole strategy is based upon. First of all, do a lot of self-practice. That's something that I'm preaching in all of my videos, right? Secondly, trust yourself. Stop correcting yourself the whole time. Obviously self-correction is required, in the sense that when you do say something wrong, you kind of just make a mental note of it. Or when you're doubting yourself, or when you're not sure of how a particular thing is said, right? That's when you make a mental note, go back to it later, look it up online. Obviously these days the internet is ubiquitous, meaning it's everywhere, so there's not an excuse not to do it, and that's how you learn. That's the self-correction done the proper way. Whereas if you just keep correcting yourself as you go and keep doubting yourself, that's not self-correction, that's chaos, you know, and that manifests as a chaotic speech and all that sort of thing. So basically stop all that, just speak the way you speak. If you make a mistake, funny thing is, obviously if you make a mistake and then you kind of catch yourself, oops, I said it wrong, you know what is the right way, the correct way of saying it, right? So in that case there's no self-correction needed, right? You just kind of realize, oops, I said it wrong, but make no big deal out of it, you know what I mean? Just forget about it. Just keep speaking, the more confident and kind of calm you become, the better your speech is going to get. Whereas if you keep worrying about it, the worse it's going to get. It's like a vicious circle. So practicing, just trusting yourself, you know, and just say whatever comes out of your mouth. And the third thing is to stop focusing on vocabulary, but try and make use of the vocabulary and phraseology that you already know, and make sure that you basically practice a lot, you know what I mean? Now, moving on to the next email. Yeah, The guy here just sent an email in saying that he's been studying English grammar for 20 years and could not speak. 20 years, that's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, 1/3 of one's lifetime, you know what I mean? And he says that I'm absolutely right in saying that studying English grammar is useless. And what I say in my ebook, that's the ebook about the truth about the English traditional studies, right? You may want to download it here if you still haven't downloaded it. He's saying that what I'm saying in the book is 100% true, and I totally agree with it, because obviously I wrote the book, right? What else would I be saying? But all jokes aside, it just goes to show that people are spending literally their lifetime studying grammar and then wondering why they can't speak. The answer is quite simple. When you study grammar, you become good at studying grammar. You know the grammar rules. That's what you become good at. But it's got nothing to do with your ability to speak. Speaking is a whole different story altogether, right? Anyway, let's go back to the next email. So this girl wants me to change the sentence into the present perfect tense. Alright, so he carries out a wide variety of administrative tasks. So he has carried out a wide variety of the administrative tasks. That would be present perfect, right? Secondly, rewrite the sentence starting with Luke said that. So the starting sentence is I'm very excited. So that's direct speech, right? I'm very excited about the idea of working in the library this year. And she says that she wrote it this way. Luke said that he was very excited about the idea of working in the library that year. But the teacher has said that it's wrong. I think what the teacher wanted to hear in this case was Luke said that he was very excited about, but very excited having been working in the library that year. So Luke said that he was very excited about having been working, or excited. I'm just trying to figure out whether the about there is not is required or not. Luke said that he was very excited having been, yeah, there's no about needed. Basically, he said that he was very excited having been working in the library that year. I think that's what your teacher wants to hear, right? And oh yeah, she also says that she's sometimes getting stuck on tenses, in which case you are really welcome to check out this video where I'm talking about how to decide which English tense and which verb form to use, right? I recorded this video earlier this year, back in February to be more specific, so you may want to check it out, and I hope that you're going to learn a lot from it, right? Now, are there any other emails left there to be answered? Well, that's pretty much it, guys. That wraps up this week's question and answer session, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And obviously, if you have any further questions, publish them in the comment section below there. And thanks for sending in your emails, everyone, and have a nice weekend, and see you soon, guys. Bye bye.